Let me tell you about a man who knew that many are the friends of the set table, but few are the friends of the empty purse. Publius Cyrus. Chapter 1. Point trapped soft blade. The soft blade, it binds your potential. Few truly wish to see you rise. We'll expose this insidious truth, understanding how your victories breed resentment. The invisible chains are the most dangerous. They don't shackle you with iron, but with soft threads of expectation, binding your ambition until you can barely move. Centuries ago, saw through the thin veil of human affection, understanding that few wish to see you rise beyond their comfort. They tell you friends cheer your success, but this is a lie that bleeds your potential. Understood is that your victories often spark envy, not just inspiration. Your discipline, your quiet climb. These rarely inspire support. They often spark unconscious resentment. This isn't overt malice. It's a subtle, unconscious pull, a constant, draining demand. Right now, your ambition is being siphoned away by those closest to you, and you don't even realize it. This is the soft blade. It's not an enemy's attack. It's constant erosion from your own circle. These are people who, without conscious intent, chip away at your time, focus, emotional reserves. They demand attention, validation, energy, not from malice, but to fill their own voids. Consider the moment you commit to a project demanding focus. The phone rings. Small requests pile up. There's an urgent need to listen to problems, engage in trivial chatter, be present for their dramas. These aren't monumental demands, but they arrive consistently, precisely when you need to be alone with your vision. You feel loyalty. You believe denying requests, setting boundaries, would be selfish or unkind, so you give your time, your attention, your mental bandwidth. Each small concession feels harmless, a tiny act of friendship. But nothing leaks, nothing drains, everything compounds. Each minute on trivialities is a minute stolen from your growth, planning, execution. Each emotional investment in their dramas diverts energy from your internal work. The soft blade doesn't cut you down. It wears you out until your drive is dulled, your edge lost. Consider the friend who calls as you tackle challenging work. They don't ask you to stop. They just need to vent, to talk through a minor inconvenience, to share some gossip they just heard. They don't mean harm. They see it as connection. But what they are actually doing is pulling you into their orbit, demanding your mental presence. Your focus breaks. Your momentum dies. You spend minutes listening, then more minutes to reset your mind back to where it was. It's a tax on your attention, a hidden cost that never gets billed. Think about the friend who always needs a quick favor that turns into an hour-long ordeal, or the one who constantly brings up past shared failures, subtly reinforcing your limitations instead of your potential. They aren't throwing obstacles in your path. They are dissolving your foundation, drop by subtle drop. They don't actively sabotage, they passively absorb like a sponge drawing water from your well. As Seneca wrote 2 millennia ago, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. What he understood is this: your time, your focus, your energy, these are finite resources. They are your capital. And these friends, without malice, are simply spending your capital for you, on their terms, for their emotional needs or their trivial problems. They make you feel guilty for prioritizing your own ascent, for guarding your precious resources. They frame your ambition as selfishness, your boundaries as coldness. Chapter 2. Your emotional tax. Emotional tax, a silent assassin. It's a levy on your spirit, paid in precious energy. Understand how this drain destroys your power. This leads directly into the concept of your emotional tax. This is the hidden cost of certain connections, a constant drain on your mental and spiritual reserves. They don't just demand your time, they demand your active emotional participation, pulling you into their crises, their dramas, their perpetual states of victimhood. Every phone call, every late-night text, every request to just listen becomes a transaction where you pay with your focus, your empathy, and the quiet internal space you need to formulate your own plans. Why does this destroy you? Because your emotional energy is not infinite. It is like a battery, constantly recharging, but also constantly depleting. When you are forced to process someone else's negativity, to validate their complaints, or to offer solutions they will never implement, you are not just losing minutes. You are losing the clarity of thought, the creative spark, the raw mental force required to build your own empire. You become a free emotional labor provider, sacrificing your growth for their comfort. Watch what happens when you're deep in flow, tackling a complex problem, and a friend calls to rehash a long-dead breakup or complain about a minor inconvenience at their job. The interruption shatters your concentration, forcing your brain to switch gears, to empathize, to advise. You spend 20 minutes on their drama, then another 30 just trying to regain the momentum you lost. This isn't friendship. It's an invisible tax on your ambition, levied without your consent. Here's how you eliminate this emotional tax. You build an impenetrable wall around your inner world. This isn't about becoming heartless, but about strategic self-preservation. You learn to listen with detachment, to offer broad, non-committal support, and to redirect conversations back to general topics. When someone tries to dump their emotional baggage on you, you acknowledge their feelings, but refuse to carry the weight yourself. You offer a simple, brief validation, then pivot. If you announce that you are setting boundaries, people will resent it. They will challenge you, label you as selfish, and try to guilt trip you back into their service. But if you quietly and consistently enforce those boundaries with actions rather than words, there is nothing for them to fight against. You become less available for emotional dumping. Your responses become shorter, your engagement more superficial. When the topic is their repeated drama, they will instinctively learn that your well is no longer open for their withdrawals. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." He understood that allowing external dramas and other people's emotional chaos to invade your mind is a direct assault on your inner peace and, by extension, your capacity for happiness and productive thought. Your mind is your temple, and you are the only one who can decide what enters it and who is allowed to preach within its walls. Lao Tzu, the ancient master, taught a similar wisdom when he said, "To a mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders." He knew the profound power of an undisturbed mind. When you allow yourself to be constantly pulled into the emotional turmoil of others, your mind becomes a battleground, not a sanctuary. Protecting that stillness, that inner calm, is not selfish. It is the fundamental act of self-mastery required to achieve anything significant in this world. But there's another insidious trap, one that masquerades as genuine support. What is it? Chapter 3, The Doubt Seed. The doubt seed, a poison. They will not destroy you outright, but infect your mind with insidious questions. Know this enemy within before it consumes your ambition. The third insidious method, the one that corrodes your very foundation, is the planting of the doubt seed. This isn't overt sabotage. It's far more subtle, a quiet whisper that questions your ambition, your capability, your very right to rise. They disguise their projections as concern, as just being realistic, but what they are truly doing is projecting their own fears and limitations onto your vision. Consider the casual questions, the well-meaning warnings, the gentle skepticism. Are you sure that's a good idea right now? Don't you think you're aiming a little high? What if it doesn't work out? These aren't genuine inquiries. They are attempts to anchor you to their own level, to keep you within the boundaries of their comfort zone. Your ambition threatens their static reality. When you share a bold new plan, a vision that truly excites you, the reaction isn't pure enthusiasm. It's a furrowed brow, a moment of hesitant silence, followed by a list of potential pitfalls. They don't see the path. They only see the obstacles. They don't see your potential. They see the risks they would never dare to take themselves. To disarm this threat, you stop sharing your grand blueprints. You keep your most ambitious projects, your most audacious goals, in the silent chamber of your own mind. Let your actions speak, not your words. Let the results be the announcement. If you announce your intentions, you invite immediate scrutiny. Open yourself to a barrage of unasked for opinions and unsolicited advice. But if you quietly build, if you move with stealth and precision, there is nothing for them to criticize until it is already a fact. By then, their doubt is irrelevant. Socrates, the great Athenian philosopher, famously said that the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. What he understood is that genuine wisdom comes from an open mind, constantly questioning, constantly learning, rather than presuming to know the limits of another's potentials. Those who plant doubt are not wise. They are closed-minded, trapped in their own limited perceptions. They impose their ignorance, their lack of vision, onto your emerging self. This isn't a dialogue, it's a subtle form of mental attack. They want you to believe that if they couldn't do it, or if they think it's too hard, then you can't either. It's a psychological transfer of their own unfulfilled desires and fears. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." While he was referring to overcoming suffering, what he also implicitly understood is that external negativity, if internalized, can be far more destructive than any physical challenge. The doubt they plant can cripple your will, even if the actual task is well within your grasp. It is critical, therefore, that you become the silent architect of your own ascent. Protect your vision fiercely. Guard it from the casual cynicism, the well-intentioned sabotage, the subtle slights that chip away at your resolve. Your belief in yourself is the most valuable asset you possess. Allowing their doubt to take root means handing them the reins to your future. It means letting their mediocrity define your potential. You didn't ask for their permission to dream, and you don't need their validation to build. Your ambition is a fragile seedling, easily trampled in its early stages. Cultivate it in the dark, in the quiet, away from the prying eyes and the subtle attacks disguised as concern. Let it grow strong and resilient before you expose it to the world. The choice is yours. Be swayed by the whispers of the insecure, or cultivate an unwavering inner conviction. But there's another, even more potent form of sabotage, one that steals your most precious resource without you even realizing it. What is it? Under Chapter 4, The Tethered Ghost. The tethered ghost, a phantom limb on your journey. It pulls you back, anchored by those who fear your evolution. Watch what happens when you try to shed old skin. This is the trap of the tethered ghost, a phantom limb on your journey that pulls you back towards who you used to be. It is the insidious force of friends who often unconsciously resent your evolution. They don't want you to grow too far, too fast, because your change disrupts their comfort, their understanding of you, and the delicate balance of your shared history. This isn't malice. It's a primal fear of the unknown, reflected in your own personal transformation. Watch what happens when you try to shed an old skin. You declare you're quitting a bad habit, and suddenly the old crowd is offering you the very thing you vowed to abandon. You commit to a new discipline, and they're mocking your ambition, reminding you of every past failure, subtly suggesting you're too good for them now. Their comfort zone is shrinking, and they will try to pull you back into the familiar, predictable space where they feel secure. What Plato understood, observing the human condition centuries ago, is that people often prefer the comforting shadows of what they know to the blinding light of new truth. Just like the prisoners in his cave, they resist the one who dares to glimpse the world outside, and they will try to drag you back to the familiar illusions. Your personal growth, your desire for something more, is a direct challenge to their stagnant reality, and they will meet it with subtle, draining resistance. They don't want you to succeed too much, because that highlights their own inaction. They don't want you to change too drastically, because then they won't know where you fit in their existing world. This constant, low-level resistance drains your drive, erodes your conviction, and slowly, imperceptibly, tethers you to a past self you are trying desperately to outgrow. It becomes a heavy chain, invisible but ever-present. Here's how you break free. You stop announcing your intentions and you start demonstrating your new reality. You don't ask for permission to change, you just change. When confronted with their subtle jabs or invitations to regress, you don't engage in debate or explanation. A simple, cold no, or a quiet shift in your schedule is all that's required. Carl Jung, in his exploration of the psyche, explained how individuals project their unacknowledged fears and desires onto others. When your friends resist your change, they are often projecting their own unfulfilled potential, their own fears of stepping outside their comfort zones onto you. Your ambition becomes a mirror reflecting their own stagnation, and they react by trying to shatter it. So, instead of arguing, you adjust your environment. You prioritize new routines, new spaces, and new influences that support your ascent. If a friendship consistently pulls you backward, you create distance. You don't make a dramatic exit. You simply become less available for the activities that reinforce your old patterns. The relationship either adapts to your new standard or it naturally fades without drama or explanation. If you explain your new diet, they will offer reasons why a cheat meal is fine. If you declare your new work ethic, they will find ways to call you boring. But if you simply are someone who eats differently, who works relentlessly, there's nothing to argue, nothing to dissect. Your silent transformation becomes an undeniable fact, and they are left with the choice to either accept it or resent it from afar. The choice is clear. Remain tethered to the expectations of your past, or quietly forge the future you demand. But there is one final, silent betrayer, a whisper that comes from within your own mind, that can dismantle everything you build. What is it? Chapter 5, Your Exposed Flank. Your exposed flank. The greatest threat comes not from your enemies, but from your own tongue. Every confession, a gift of vulnerability. The final betrayer is the urge to open your mouth, to explain yourself, to share the blueprints of ambition, cracks in your armor. They tell you to be authentic, vulnerable. This is a lie, a weakness dressed as virtue. What they call connection, you must see as an exposed flank. Every time you share a dream, a fear, a doubt, you hand over a weapon. You give them a map to your weaknesses, a guide to your pressure points. Your intentions, strategies, uncertainties become ammunition. They don't attack directly. They just need to know where you are fragile. Think about it. You confide in someone about a new project, a career move, or a personal struggle you want support. Watch what happens when that information, even innocently, slips out. Others know your gambit, they know where to push. Sun Tzu understood war is built on deception. The supreme art is to subdue the enemy without fighting. He taught that if your plans are known, you are already defeated. Your friends might not be enemies, but information you give can be weaponized by others or by their unconscious biases. Keep your calculations to yourself. It's not always malice. Often is human nature. The subtle joy of a stumble, the comfort in knowing others have flaws. They don't actively work against you. They just remember your insecurities. They recall your doubts when you achieve. They keep mental notes on your fears, ready to remind you when it suits them. So the strategy is simple. Cultivate an aura of impenetrable resolve. You must become a wall, not a window. When you confess your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, you are not building intimacy. You are handing them blueprints to your weak spots. They don't need to be malicious to use them. They just need to be human. The subconscious mind logs everything. It remembers when you said you felt like a fraud, when you admitted you were afraid of failure, when you questioned your own worth. These details don't disappear, they linger. Watch what happens when you share your big ambition, your grand plan for a new business, a difficult career change, or even a personal transformation. You tell a close friend about the financial risks, the sacrifices you'll have to make, the constant worry that gnaws at you. They listen, they nod, they offer superficial encouragement. But deep down, a seed of doubt is planted in their mind about your capacity to pull it off. Later, when you face a genuine setback, that seed blossoms. They won't overtly sabotage you, but their belief in you will waver. They might subtly discourage you, or worse, their lack of faith will subtly communicate itself to others, creating a quiet ripple of skepticism that can undermine your support network. They start to see you as the person who struggled, not the person who succeeded. Here's how you protect that flank. Build an inner fortress, an emotional citadel that no one can breach. Never confide your deepest fears or your grandest, most vulnerable aspirations to those outside your most trusted, absolutely proven inner circle. Mao is a circle of one. Your ambition should be a quiet furnace, burning intensely within, not a flickering candle exposed to every draft. Let them see only the finished product, the confident stride, the unwavering gaze. Your strength is in what they don't know, in the mystery you maintain. If you announce your intentions, your hopes and your struggles, you invite judgment and skepticism before you've even begun. People will find reasons why you can't, why you shouldn't, why you're not good enough. They will project their own failures and limitations onto your nascent dreams. But if you move in silence, if you execute your plan with quiet determination, when you finally reveal your accomplishment, it lands with an undeniable force. There's nothing for them to refute, no prior doubts to dredge up, no whispered fears to confirm. Your success becomes an unassailable fact, an act of sheer will that manifests out of nowhere, leaving them only to marvel. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius understood this profound truth, writing that, "Now where can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul?" What he understood is that your true power lies not in external validation or shared vulnerability, but in the disciplined solitude of your own resolve. Your mind, your plans, your inner landscape. These are sacred spaces, not public forums. Protect them fiercely. But even if you guard your plans, there's another way. Friends can subtly drain your energy, slowly eroding your capacity to rise. One that operates not through what you say, but through what you do. What is it? Chapter 6. Praise as poison. Praise, a dangerous weapon. It can elevate you, yes, or, in the hands of your enemies, subtly dismantle your very triumphs. Understand its poison. This is the poison of praise. It sounds harmless, a validation of your effort. But in the wrong mouths, it becomes a corrosive agent, slowly eating away at your foundation. They do not attack directly. That would expose their true intent. Instead, they offer compliments with a hidden barb, a slight reservation that plants doubt in your mind. They might say, "That was a good win for you," or "You got lucky with that deal, but you earned it." They smile while they chip away at your achievement, making it seem less earned, less significant, less replicable. This isn't celebration. It's an emotional tax, designed to subtly drain your satisfaction and make you question your own capabilities. It keeps you small in their eyes, and if you're not careful, in your own. Watch what happens when you finally break through a long-standing barrier. You achieve a goal others only talk about, a vision you quietly built. The friends gather, they congratulate you, but their words carry an undeniable undertone of envy. They might suggest your success was due to circumstance, or that it's only a matter of time before the whole thing unravels. They do this because your rise highlights their stagnation, and that mirror is too painful for them to face. Here's how you disarm this silent attack. You must learn to filter their words with ruthless efficiency. Not everything spoken to you is meant to build you up. Some praise is merely a cover for envy, a way to diminish your light without outright hostility. Observe their eyes, their subtle shifts in demeanor, the fleeting tightness around their mouth. The true intent is rarely in the words themselves, but in the unspoken signals. The naive mind accepts all praise at face value, becoming vulnerable to manipulation. It seeks more validation, blind to the underlying agenda. But you see the game. You recognize the backhanded compliment, not as a boost, but as a quiet assassination attempt on your confidence. You allow it to pass through you, like a gust of wind, leaving no mark. You do not engage, you do not defend, you simply observe. Aristotle, in his meticulous observations of human nature, wrote that envy is pain at the good fortune of others. What he understood is that some individuals cannot bear to see your progress without feeling a corresponding lack in themselves. Their praise, therefore, becomes a defense mechanism, a way to regain psychological balance by subtly devaluing your success, pulling you back towards their perceived level. When they offer this poisoned praise, they are not celebrating you, they are measuring themselves against you. If they feel small in that comparison, their compliments become an attempt to shrink you back to their size. Leonardo da Vinci, a master of observation and the human condition, understood that the greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. He knew that people project their inner turmoil onto others, particularly when faced with another's success. Their opinions of your achievements often say more about their own insecurities than about your true capabilities. Recognize this dynamic. Your accomplishments speak for themselves. They do not require interpretation or validation from those who wish you secretly ill. Silence is often the only true response. It strips their subtle attacks of any power, leaving them to contend with their own envy, alone. Chapter 7. The Invisible Hand. The invisible hand, a silent assassin. Learn to see the subtle betrayals, the disguised attacks. Unmask your hidden enemies before they bleed you dry. Dangerous attacks rarely come head-on. They arrive disguised, cloaked in concern or innocent forgetfulness. This is the invisible hand, a friend or perceived ally, quietly siphoning your opportunities, tarnishing your standing. You never see the blade. It's a slow, unnoticed bleeding out of your potential. Unseen sabotage devastates because you can't fight what you can't name. They won't confront you. Instead, they fail to mention your name for an opportunity or subtly introduce doubt about your capabilities in conversation. They plant seeds of suspicion, silently obstructing your path. Watch what happens when your name comes up for a promotion. One might offer a slight hesitation. He's great, but sometimes he can be, followed by an anecdote, true, but out of context. This isn't a direct attack. It's a soft dismissal, a gentle nudge of the scales, designed to appear as mere observation. Here's how you identify the invisible hand. Watch for absent support, not just opposition. Pay attention to opportunities you don't hear about, connections that don't materialize, or the faint chill from others. The real signs are in the gaps, the things left unsaid. Confront them, and they'll feign ignorance or claim you are paranoid. Plausible deniability is their shield. But by observing patterns of missed opportunities and redirected praise, you outline their quiet war. As Winston Churchill said, you have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something. He understood visible enemies are straightforward. It's the concealed ones, operating from within your circle, who pose the true threat, eroding your foundations without warning, cloaked in loyalty. Damage extends beyond missed chances. It poisons your reputation, making you seem less capable or trustworthy to those who heard whispers. This erodes trust, making your ascent harder. Your network, meant to support you, becomes a breeding ground for quiet betrayals. Julius Caesar, facing ultimate betrayal, noted, "Even you, Brutus." He grasped that the deepest cuts come from those closest, those who earned your trust and possess intimate knowledge for the most precise damaging strikes. To counter this, adopt silent observation and strategic detachment. Do not engage directly with whispers or slights. Instead, quietly build alternative alliances. Cultivate relationships outside the saboteur's circle. Gather your own intelligence. Let them believe their actions are unseen, while you build a parallel path. Confront them, and you validate their power, exposing vulnerability. But quietly bypass their influence. create direct lines to opportunities, allow their subtle sabotage to fail. Their invisible hand finds no purchase on a target already moving beyond its reach. The true master of strategy understands not every battle is fought with open declarations. The most effective defense is to make yourself immune to quiet attacks, to render the invisible hand impotent by moving beyond its grasp. Your rise should not depend on the goodwill of those who wish to see you fall. What is the ultimate defense against those who subtly poison your well? It is cultivation of an impenetrable inner world, a fortress against external judgment and manipulation. That is what we explore next. Chapter 8. The Silent Pruning. Silent pruning, your inner world, a sensor. Recognize the currents of envy and unspoken agendas. An absolute brutal honesty about your relationships is your greatest defense. The impenetrable inner world you cultivate is not a shield against external realities, but a finely tuned sensor. It allows you to perceive the subtle shifts in energy, the quiet currents of envy, the unspoken agendas that betray the surface smile. Your greatest defense begins with an absolute, brutal honesty about the true nature of your relationships. Many who claim friendship are merely projecting their own limitations and unfulfilled ambitions onto your potential. They see the ascent you are attempting and instinctively feel the gap between your drive and their complacency. This isn't conscious malice every time, but a deeply ingrained human flaw, the discomfort with another's unbridled success when their own stagnates. Think about those moments when your genuine excitement about a breakthrough was met with a lukewarm response or a quick pivot to their own unrelated problems. Watch what happens when you share a vulnerability. Do they offer genuine support or subtly highlight its potential for failure? These small moments accumulate, revealing a pattern of quiet disinterest in your actual rise. Here's how you begin the silent pruning of these draining connections. It is not a dramatic declaration or a confrontational exit. It is a gradual, almost imperceptible reduction of access. Respond slower, initiate less, share only surface-level information, and slowly narrow the windows they have into your true strategic movements and emotional landscape. When you begin to starve these connections, they naturally wither. There is no need for explanations, no manufactured drama. You simply become less available, less engaged, until the perceived friendship fades into a polite acquaintance or even a distant memory. This process protects your vital energy from their constant, unspoken siphoning. Mahatma Gandhi understood the profound power of inner resolve against external pressures and subtle sabotage. He observed that your entire destiny flows from your deepest thoughts and beliefs. He understood that your internal world is your ultimate fortress. If your thoughts are free from their doubt, your rise is inevitable. Your self-perception must remain impenetrable, immune to their quiet efforts to shrink your ambition. Contrast this with the predictable chaos of an open break. If you announce your withdrawal, you create an enemy, a source of gossip, and an opportunity for them to gather others against you. But if you simply recede, quietly, severing the unseen threads, there is nothing tangible for them to attack, only the slow realization that you are no longer within their reach. This calculated distancing is not an act of hate or petty revenge. It is a surgical protection of your resources. You are safeguarding your focus, your emotional stability, and the precious time needed to execute your long-term strategies. Every ounce of energy spent on a draining connection is an investment taken away from your own ascent. Nelson Mandela, too, grasped the brutal necessity of discerning true allies from those who merely tolerated his existence. He famously noted, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." This principle underscores that clinging to resentment poisons only yourself. Your freedom from their subtle undermining comes from within, by releasing the emotional hold they once had. The ultimate act of neutralizing these forces is not to destroy them, but to render them utterly irrelevant. Your consistent progress, your unstoppable ascent, will be their greatest and most chilling punishment. They are left to observe your rise from an increasing distance, trapped in the very stagnation they covertly wished upon you. Remember the silent assassins we explored, the quiet praise that diminishes your efforts, the manufactured doubt that erodes your confidence, the subtle sabotages that derail your momentum.